Okay, thank you everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of United and Everything Football. This is episode 13.
You say excited?
Beautiful. It has to be exciting, whether you like it or not. For us, recording the podcast is supposed to be exciting. But anyway, the team is looking so bad. It's looking so bad, we don't know exactly what the problem is. Has it gotten to a point where... Anyway, let me reserve my comment. So this podcast has been put together so we discuss everything United and everything football. As usual, I do it with Kwame Chukwuesi. Thank you, Kwame, for joining. And I hope you are doing good. Are you okay? Are you sure you are fine?
Is that a rhetorical question?
You're not supposed to answer that.
I am not doing well.
Okay, so today we have another special guest joining us, Fifi Manfred of Insura FM, very good friend of ours. And if you want tactics, yeah, he's the guru in all of that. Fifi, how are you doing, bro?
Kwame, I'm good, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. So we are going for a break, but we come back, we'll continue. Thank you so much for joining us on United and Everything Football. This is episode 13, like I rightly told you. We are here to discuss Manchester United. And if you're a United fan watching this right now, I'm not sure you are in a good state of mind, given the events that has happened. Now, Old Trafford has completely broken down. I mean, I don't know how to describe Old Trafford right now. Last season, we lost just 2 games at Old Trafford, against Real Sociedad and Brighton, Hove and Albion. This season, we've lost against Palace, we've lost against Galatasaray, we've lost against City, we've lost against Newcastle. Who again? A lot of the teams, and clearly a lot is not going well. Kwame, let me start with you. What is the problem? I mean, what is
Personally, I'm here to talk about Accra Sobok. As you can see.
Interestingly, none of us decided to wear United something today.
On the real though, it's even beyond crisis right now.
Yeah,
it's beyond. The truth is, we've been here before several times over the past decade. It's almost like we know where this is going. Personally, I'm numb to this. It's become recurrent. We seem to get a manager who gets us, heading in one particular direction. And then just when we think we are going to kick on, things just totally crumble. I did not envisage that this season would go this way at all. But then we are going down a road that we have been on several times over the past decade.
I mean, for many people like myself, we saw some few signs in the preseason. I mean, like we were like, oh, it's just preseason, but clearly you could see that yes, the approach to play had changed a lot of the way we wanted to, organize ourselves in the personnel that we got in and all of that. We started preseason. We play some games. You see that yes, we want to play transition football, but the idea. There were still some things quite lacking in the approach and all of that. What do you think is really accounting for that? Because clearly, I don't know what is happening. I don't know what is happening.
All right, so Eric Ten Hag made some comments over the weekend after we lost to City about why he did come to Manchester United. He was posed a question as to, could we ever play like the way Ajax play? And his answer was quite interesting, that's not the reason why he came to Manchester United. He cannot play the way that Ajax played because of the kind of players that he has assembled. I'm not quoting, I'm actually, trying to make sense of what he was trying to say. That he's gotten players that can play transition football. The question is, we hired a manager because of your success with Ajax and the way that they played. But why do you come to United and want to try something that we've never seen you do before? But then I think what he had in mind was to look at what Manchester United has always been historically, what United has done successfully, and try to replicate that. Unfortunately, that seems to have been one of the biggest mistakes he's ever done in his life, because it's not transmitted on the football pitch. It hasn't come together right from preseason all the way through the early games of the season. And unfortunately for him, he was hampered severely by injury. So whatever that he wanted to build, there was no momentum at all. And with results, like bad results, like confidence drops, everything drops. And it's gotten to the point where I don't believe these players believe in what he's trying to teach them anymore, what he's trying to implement anymore. It's even gotten to the point where he himself, the pressure has gotten to him. He seems to be a man who last season through to this season seemed to be in control. But then the United job is a tough one. It's a really, really, really tough one. And it seems to have gotten to him. He's making selection mistakes. He's making tactical mistakes. And one thing that he was highly commended for last season, which was his in-game management, seems to have completely abandoned him. He's making the wrong subs. He's not making the right decisions in games at the right time. And he's hurting us in as much as he claims that injuries may have hurt him and VAR decisions may have gone against him. Everything else seems to sound like an excuse right now. It's gotten to the point where he isn't in control of affairs. The club is in free fall. Results sort of reflect that. We are losing 3-0 at home. We've lost by more than 3 goals 5 times already this season. It's insane. We don't even do draws. There's no in between. It's either losses or wins.
Yes.
And now our losses actually supersede our wins. We are heading for the usual, But then again, that doesn't solve our problems.
Absolutely.
We've seen time and again sacking managers, overhauling the squads. It's not taking us anywhere. All that it does is gives us brief moments of, reprieve. We win a trophy here and there, and then we think we're going to kick on. But the ultimate problem still remains. We need drastic changes on this football club in order to get back to where we used to be.
All right. Fifi, you are one person who actually admire the work Ten Hag does. I mean, you speak a lot about his ideas and what he's trying to do. So I'll ask you, what is Erik Ten Hag trying to do?
Thank you very much. I think that if you look at Erik Ten Hag, he has said it clearly that he wants to make Manchester United one of the best transition-based teams in the league. It is sad that whilst he's doing that, it is going to take a toll on his team, because you can't have your team running for the ball for 90 minutes straight, and when they win it back, you also have to run and go and attack for 90 minutes straight. There is always going to be that point where they have to retain possession, calm down, take their breath, and then start the game again. So, especially with the kind of team that he has, that was always going to be difficult. I do not agree with a lot of people, especially Manchester United folk, who make it look like Erik Ten Hag is clueless about the job that he's doing, or Ten Hag is not a good manager. For somebody who has done a very, very good job at Bayern Munich's academy, done a solid job at Ajax Amsterdam with the kind of materials that he had there at the time, and having come here, and also having that brilliant season that he had last season, giving the players that Manchester United had, it can't just be that he doesn't know what he's doing. Something might be wrong. And for me, when I look at the United structure, when I look at the United team, when I look at where Manchester United have come from post Sir Alex Ferguson, I agree with Ralph Ragnick even the more. And I say that is not just a cosmetic approach of the problem that was solved. It is something that has to be an open heart surgery, quote and unquote, that will solve Manchester United's problem. Because you look deep down, you realize that, like Kwame was saying, you bring in a coach, he tries to do something that's short term, and even for Erik Ten Hag, he wants to go the regular Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson heydays, where it's a quick transition, heavy metal football, end-to-end action with players that are willing to go toe-to-toe with opposing teams and get results for you. But it's not like that again. This time, Manchester United's purchases have been disjoint. I think that one of the biggest mistakes that Erik Ten Hag did was that he made a lot of mistakes in the summer, the kind of players that he bought, the kind of profiles he got into his team. Why I felt that getting somebody like Andre Onana meant that he was going to get an extra center back to come in there and play out comfortably from the back. I thought that getting Andre Onana meant that consistently we were going to see Rasmus Højlund in the team as an outlet. In Onana's first few games, there was no Rasmus Højlund. And also, when injuries did hamper the team, when injuries did come, it took a huge toll on the team. So Erik Ten Hag is trying to play his football. He's somebody that plays the positional way of playing football, the Johan Cruyff way. And I think that's what he tried to say in that interview when he said that Manchester United cannot play how Ajax played, because this Manchester United team cannot play strictly Johan Cruyff football, positionally hinged on how his Ajax team were playing. So you see, on Twitter again, I've seen consistently where people say Anthony is clueless. Anthony doesn't know what he's doing. Anthony is a winger, he's supposed to dribble and whatnot. But I asked Amsterdam, this was the same Anthony. He wasn't in the team to dribble at the time. He was just somebody who was purposeful to control tempo in attack. So when we constantly say that the game has evolved and has moved from just positions to roles, then we look at players on the particular roles that they are supposed to perform on the field of play, given the position that they are in. And in the case of Anthony, he's always in that Manchester United team to control the tempo of the game in attack, because Bruno Fernandes is so erratic that every point in time when you give Bruno the ball, he doesn't even stay on it. He doesn't calm down. He has no pulsar. He quickly plays forward every night. He's so erratic with his trying to find the final balls. Yes, if you have these much volume in terms of playing the final balls, you tend to get some good results at some point in time. But sometimes also you need to manage the pace at which you go up and down the field of play, especially in attack. And that is how Anthony was playing at Ajax Amsterdam when Erik Ten Hag was there. Because he's not playing in strictly positional play and he wants to go transition, but still wants to try and get somebody like Anthony in there. When I watch Anthony, I'll say Anthony's clueless also if I do not understand why Anthony was bought in the first place and what Anthony used to do at Brazil. When you see Anthony, you get confused because he is not a Brazilian, quote unquote. How is Anthony a Brazilian when he cannot dribble? How is Anthony a Brazilian when he can't take on players 1v1? Anthony is not even able to create from outside. And this is what I mean when I say Erik Ten Hag undid himself with the kind of players he brought in. And then he now went to the media to go and say, I want to play transitional football. I want to play quick transitional football. But you have players that are retaining position and attacking and then slowing down the game. How do you get these things from your teams? Again, you say you want to play transitional football. It means that you need a lot of quick, high volume passes to play forward. Casemiro as your DM alone with Scott McTominay doesn't give you that. You add even say an Eriksen in that middle of the park. He is also leggy and can't give you the off the ball job. So now you are worried. You go and buy Mason Mount, who is excellent in the second phase in terms of ball progression, but gets injured. And when he comes in, he's even lost, can't find himself. The team is struggling. He himself doesn't get that much pass volume forward that he was giving Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. Not under Frank Lampard. Under Frank Lampard, he wasn't that kind of player. Even at Graham Potter, he wasn't that player. But under Thomas Tuchel, that's when we saw the best of Mason Mount in that attacking age. So Erik Ten Hag seems to be confused. But I just disagree when people put things out and they say he's clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's lost. No, I think he's a good manager. I just think that United's problems go skin deep. Again, back to what Ralph Ragnick said and what Kwame said earlier on. If you have a club and you have a structure, a well-known structure, the club says we want to play like this, we want to play like that, then we're going to pick a manager that fits how we want to play. Like, that is how it's done. City didn't just wake up and go and bring Josep Guardiola to be their manager. Liverpool didn't just wake up and go and bring Jurgen Klopp as their manager. They brought on Jurgen Klopp to come to the team because they wanted Jurgen person. They wanted to press very high and wide. They wanted to push up the field of play. They wanted somebody that could play with a lot of momentum and aggression at Anfield because they knew that the fans at Anfield are aggressive, and they would want this kind of football. And that's what they felt to also give them successes. So Joe Ward, Michael Edwards, when they built that sporting structure, was hinged on that. And they knew that the best man at the time, the best man was Jurgen Klopp. For Thomas Tuchel, for Manchester City, Chikri Bakistan and the likes who are at Manchester City knew that Pep Guardiola was the man to take them there. Yes, Pep is brilliant. He's a genius. So they allowed him to build how he wanted to build. Eric Ten Hag is not in a class of genius when it comes to managers. He's a good manager. There are only a few managers, in my opinion, that can deal with the club building process whilst also building a team on the side. So there's a vast difference. Somebody may want to build a club. The other person may be building a team. If you go to Chelsea right now, they are trying to build a club and then build a team at the same time. Mauricio Pochettino is struggling to find that the best man, in my opinion, in terms of the best managers in terms of club building, especially in recent times. Pep has done it brilliantly. Klopp has done it brilliantly. Even Mikel Arteta, he seems to have that aura to take on the press, to take on people and say, you know what, this is where the club stands. I have the backing of Edu, and we stick by it and we go into the club building process. 2 seasons ago, when Arteta completed his first season, there was a video output where he said that the feeling at the Emirates had changed and it has been the best for a very long time, since a very long time. And before it was tagged as toxic, now it isn't toxic. Now it is the kind of atmosphere that you would want to be in. So I will go to Spurs and I will compare Ange Postecoglou, who is brilliant with the tactical job, but I don't think that Ange Postecoglou essentially is the kind of manager that builds a club. At some point in time, yes, he's charismatic. Yes, he knows how to speak. But in terms of club building, he may need other hands to get the job done. At United, what does John Motto do? Who are the Glazers bringing on to help Manchester United in terms of the sporting role of the job, the sporting direction of the team? Because if you leave every manager, and that is one of the things that, for me, when you go to what Chelsea are trying to do, when people say Chelsea have bought players for 1 billion, I laugh because I think that the plan for Chelsea for them will make sense with time, and they know that they are going to suffer now. So they've gone in for some of the best sporting minds and said, let's buy the top technical young players, put them together. Let's get the best technical young team builder in Mauricio Pochettino. He may not be the best at building the club, but they will stick with him to build a team. And for me, I think that for Mauricio Pochettino, he will not even be there when Chelsea win trophies. His job is just to do the job in the first phase. Second phase, will be out. Somebody come and do the job. And for Eric Ten Hag, he needs help. He needs help because, like what Kwame said, as it stands now, you can tell that the players have lost trust in him. But Kwame, do you remember the time that Manchester United lost a game against one of those big sides? And I remember one of those players came out and said, we had to run on a hill or something, and Eric Ten Hag did that with us, and then we want to die for him. That was Eric Ten Hag last season when he was getting results for the team. But now that results have taken a nosedive, where is the sporting director to get a job done? What is the club's sporting direction? Because yes, Amrabat is a beautiful player, but Amrabat will not thrive when he's playing with a Casemiro. Amrabat will only thrive if maybe he's playing a single six with Mount and Kobe Mainoo as his 2 number 8. In my opinion, if Manchester United has Kobe Mainoo and Mount as 2 number 8, I will be so happy. I'm not a Manchester United fan, but you know that technically it's a much more balanced midfield. But than trying to force Eriksen into the team, trying to force Scott McTominay into the team, trying to play Mount from out wide to do what Thomas Tuchel made him do at some point in time, and it isn't working. The face of the club for a very long time has been Marcus Rashford. How is Marcus Rashford pulling himself from abyss now? Yesterday, I looked at the statistic. I think he had just a goal and an assist with an XG of more than 3. In terms of his first XG of more than 3, he has 1 goal, 1 assist. Seriously underperforming his XG. And it is worrying. The rest, 0-0-0, Anthony Martial, the attackers, nothing to show for this team under Eric Ten Hag. So I think that Eric Ten Hag is trying to do the things that he would want to do, but it's not enough, and he will need some help, to be very honest.
Fifi has unpacked. Kwame, I don't even know what to say. I don't even have a question.
Let me just oh God. let me just top up. So
just top up. I don't have a question. Just top up.
Let's top up and then we move to Chelsea.
Move to Chelsea.
I'm tired of talking about my own club. All right, so we just have. I just want to sum issues into a couple of points. Last season, we gave Eric Ten Hag all the credits in the world for how he managed things. Nobody was talking about sporting directors and ownership and blah, blah, blah. So there are things that are going wrong now, and the manager has to take a lot of blame for how he's managing the team currently. Yes, there have been injuries. Yes, there have been a lot of disruptions around the club, but then I don't think he is in control as he should be. He's kind of lost the plot a bit, and he has to find himself. But then again, I also do not believe that sacking the manager is the solution to our problem, because I think he's a good manager, right? It's hard to get good managers out there. One big mistake that this club made was to grant him all his wishes. There is no good football club in the world right now that just hands complete control, almost total control to managers to make whichever signings that they want. If you had a very good sporting director in place, he would say to you, Eric Ten Hag, what kind of football do you want to play? If it goes in line with his vision, his ideas, and that of the club, he would not allow you to buy Anthony for 100 million euros. He would probably give you options at that particular point in time who may cost less with the same attributes and probably suit the kind of football that you want to play better. That's just an example. So our problems, the long-term solution to our problems requires drastic change. And one person offers that. Somebody that have actually, most fans did not want to take over our football club. But then it's Jimmy Ratcliffe. He's the only person who could come in now with what we are hearing, that he wants to tackle the sporting aspect of our football club first, which is actually the heart and soul of the football club. And if he's prepared to make those changes that we want, get rid of the likes of Meto and the likes of Richard Arnold, who have seriously underperformed even in a short space of time, and bring in competent people who would stand their ground and, go like, you can't always have this player. Sometimes this player is better for the football club. A very good example is that Fifi mentioned concerning Jurgen Klopp and Edwards. Salah wouldn't be playing for Salah if they allowed Jurgen Klopp to have his way. I'm sure most people have heard of this. He wanted Julian Brandt from Borussia Dortmund. Edward made a better recommendation for him. A great coach, but he may have made a mistake long-term for the club if he had had his way at that particular point in time. So we need those kind of people at our football club. Eric Ten Hag needs help. Any manager who actually comes into this football club needs help, and he needs help from the best in class and the best rules.
What do you think, Pete, what do you think would be the way forward for Eric Ten Hag, in your opinion? Sum it up in like 3-4 minutes for me.
I think that Eric Ten Hag should go back to the kind of football he was playing last season, because what he's trying to do now, it won't work. I mean, he has to try and salvage something this season. And the Carabao Cup offered United the best chance to something this season. Now Manchester United are out. Also, you look at the UEFA Champions League, and it was one of the things that really deceived United into thinking that they were there, but they're actually not there. That forced United into buying some of the players that he bought. So Ten Hag has to go back to it. He has to go back to that solid defense, scoring just a few goals, being very resolute at the back, and then getting his players in form to get a goal in for him. And it has to be a stopgap. He needs also to make sure that he puts pressure on the club. So you see, one of the things that most managers who are very good at club building, again, and I'll go back to Jose Mourinho when he went to Real Madrid the first time, where the job was to go and unseat Barcelona and then make sure you bring out something. Anytime that he needed help, he used the media and he sent messages to the club hierarchy of how much help he needed. Pep Guardiola has done that several times with Manchester City when he came newly and asked for help several times with how he wanted some help. Again, Jurgen Klopp would want to do stuff like that. Mikel Arteta has made some comments in the past to suggest that Edu has to help him in certain ways. He can't come out into the media and make everything look like it's fine at Manchester United, whilst really he's suffering and then he needs help in some part. But really, he is also to blame for a lot of the ills that Manchester United are having now. And I agree with Kwame when he says that, because last season, almost every Manchester United fan was saying, hey, he's brilliant, he's good. He's taking us here, he's taking us there. But again, if results are not coming now, then you can also agree with people who say that maybe the guy has lost he's out of his depth. I just don't think that it is enough to make that conclusion. But he is also to blame for a lot of other things. Maybe he has to do some soul searching. Actually, he really
exactly.
maybe
He
needs to do stuff like that. Yeah.
Kwame, a lot of people blaming the players, taking a lot of money, and see, we've gone through that cycle, and the players.
We've gone through this cycle over and over.
Let me state this. We've been here. I don't know the number of times we've all come to an agreement that at every point we are signing a certain player under any coach, it felt like a good signing. You can just go back and then look. So maybe I'll look at the Moyes era where he signed players like Maran, Fellaini, and all of that. That not many people were, in favor of that. But you look at the LVG. Luke Shaw was one of the hottest young players coming up. We felt he was good. We got him. Yeah. We signed Ander Herrera, from Athletic Bilbao in Spain, and he came in and he did what he had to do. A passion merchant, did all he had to do. At some point, we brought in Radamel Falcao. We felt that Falcao was coming from an injury, but we felt he was one of the best strikers.
Kwame, the list is long. Pogba.
I mean, you could go on and
Sancho.
on and on.
The list is long.
And every time we are signing these players, you feel that, this looks like a player that fits a particular thing for us, right? Mm-hmm. Just maybe a few of them that you mentioned that you feel that, these players are not probably United standard, but we felt could fit into something.
Kwame, the simple, I know which question you're going to answer. Let me answer it before you even ask. The simple answer to this problem is the club has lost itself in terms of a philosophy and way of play. If you go and sign different players at different times who are excelling elsewhere, what style of play are they come to play at Manchester United? Do those players fit
exactly
what we want to do? We've had different managers who have different ways of playing. We move from the pragmatic Moyes to the possession-based LVG to a pragmatic Jose Mourinho. Then we said, no, that's not good enough. We want somebody who has the heart and soul of Manchester United. Then we went for Ole, and then we've stopped with Ole, and we've gone for a manager who is even caught in between his own ideas as to whether to play Ajax football or transition football. So imagine where these players actually find themselves in the football club. They were bought by one manager for one particular style of play, and another manager comes in with a totally different style of play, or no style of play, or a confused style of play. And you don't expect these players to all excel when all this confusion is going around manager to manager. However, if we had a technical director, a sporting director who has a particular vision, if the club had a CEO who had a particular vision, like the Ajax model, Van der Sar knows how Ajax play. Overmars knows how Ajax play. If the manager, being Erik Ten Hag, does not conform to how Ajax play with the kind of players that he is given, you are quickly out. You have to play the Ajax way. So all the players that are signed with the qualities to play the Ajax way. When Ferguson was running the show, it was because he knew exactly how he wanted his club to play for years and signed players accordingly. We've lost our way completely in terms of this aspect of our game. So we are just doing try and error. The reason why Pep said it after the City game, he said it. He said exactly what's wrong with our football club. That the reason why he's successful at City is because his CEO, his sporting director, and himself are in sync.
Yes.
We don't have that hierarchy at our football club. Everybody is all over the place. Nothing is in sync at Manchester United, including the fans association with the football club right now. We are all over the place. Before tonight, people were like, rotate. Others were like, you have to play your strongest. I'm like, come on, we are all over the place. We don't even know what we want. I got it so funny. So all you guys have been saying Garnacho is a problem and then Rashford should be benched. Garnacho plays and then he gives away the ball and we concede. I'm like, the Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong is actually going wrong. Any fans' idea is even going wrong.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's go to Chelsea. Fifi, what is wrong with your Chelsea? It's 5 minutes. Let's spare 5 minutes.
Chelsea, I just think that's just time. They are in the first stage of their building process. It's going to take time. I think that Mauricio Pochettino is right when it comes to the first phase of building the team. He is the guy, because especially with the average age that Chelsea has, Mauricio Pochettino has a track record to build them. The only thing is that Chelsea and Chelsea fans are known for what they used to get in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 coming. So they have no time to spare. They are not willing to go through that process. And I'm also sure that they have seen their friends who are from Arsenal, Liverpool in the last few years where they have struggled to get to where they have gotten to. You remember, here in Ghana, we used to tell people that if you are an Arsenal fan, then you'll not even be scared of a broken heart again.
Yes.
Because you go through the series of heartbreaks that Arsenal used to give you. And that's what the Chelsea fans are scared of. Even for me, who sometimes you think that, oh, maybe it's but sometimes Chelsea lose games and you're all over the place. So it is worrying, but it is going to take time. You can't just buy 22, 21-year-olds and expect that they hit the ground running at the first stage. I think that there were some mistakes in the summer with respect to the players that Chelsea bought. Like I agree with everybody that says that you can't spend 1 billion and you don't have a proper striker in your team. That is questionable.
Okay.
You can't spend 1 billion and you don't have a proper goalkeeper in your team. These are some of the things. But essentially, I think that with time they'll come to farm.
Just a quick one on the Chelsea thing. Right. I just think the owner changed too much too quickly in a short
time. Yeah.
Too many drastic changes. And because of this, it's going to take probably longer than he actually anticipated that it will take for them to. But the problem is, other clubs aren't waiting. That's the issue now. There's the Newcastle, there is City,
Aston Villa, even Aston Villa.
These clubs aren't slowing down anytime soon. So if you're not careful, you'll probably be doing 2 decades before.
No, but Kwame, do you think that there is a way Chelsea can fast track the process of getting back to the top?
Get some few more experienced players to add up to the mix. That's the whole thing. I mean, you just don't leave everything to signing the likes of Enzo, and you need a few more winners in there. Like you have Thiago Silva in there, a winner. Yeah. Now, what Chelsea have done this season has been to clear out a lot of these players who have helped the team get to this level at some point. The likes of Mason Mount, the likes of Kai Havertz, Rudiger left the season before. A lot of these experienced guys know a lot more about what it means to play for a club like Chelsea than these youngins that you've come. You look at the whole Chelsea setup, and you have just 2 experienced players in there, Sterling and what's his name?
Thiago Silva.
Sanchez, who is he? Brighton. Where? Leon. Who? Cucurella. I mean, you look at these guys, and you need a lot more character. Looking at the Chelsea that we've come to know, Abramovich builds this team based on a certain character. He had a certain DNA, and that DNA was winning, just like Real Madrid. They don't care about any style or anything, whatever. The DNA in these clubs is just to win football games, and that's what they do. That's why the job that Abramovich did was to hire and fire. You come, win the league, you go down, you go. The next person comes, continues the cycle. So it's winning. So these people are trying to go take a different route or approach, trying to want to build a team with a certain style and all of those things. And it becomes very, very difficult for anybody to, go through that. I'm sure as fans, they are going through a very painful transition. Painful. Your bragging rights, the banter, and you are losing banter every week. I mean, it becomes, unfortunately for you have United as company, so you always get someone. Always get someone to.
We are in this together.
We are brothers. So that's how Charlie, guys, thank you so much. That's how we end today's episode of United.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Fifi, for joining us. We'll be bringing you on more. Fifi also has a YouTube channel. We'll be dropping the link to his YouTube channel at the comment section and also at the description section, so you could follow him. He does a lot of tactical analysis of games, break down some of these games that we watch every weekend. So please do well, subscribe to his channel and watch everything that he's putting on there. As you listen to him here, he does some very, very good stuff on there. So please do well to subscribe and also follow, like, share his videos, and I'm sure you'd enjoy. Thank you so much, Fifi.
Kwame, so let me just add something. So I told you I was moving in the new place.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a quick studio set up. I think that the first show where I want to try and go to yourself and Kwame's mod, where we can bring people in. Yourself and Kwame should be the first on it. Let's just have 10 minutes of talking about anything, everything.
Nice.
Yeah. You have us on now. You have us on that. You have us on that. Thank you so much, people. Thank you, Kwame. As usual, you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell every single time, so you could get every.
How to Vote is winning the league.
How to Vote.
We are back.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much. We will back next time next week on the same channel. Have a great time.